Thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. I thank the chairman for his generous remarks and for his tremendous leadership on bringing this important legislation to the floor. Mr. Conyers is well known as a champion of the people, and today he demonstrates that once again. This House of Representatives, Mr. Chairman, is called the People's House, and you are a leader in the People's House. Today, we live up to that name by passing legislation that increases leverage for people, by changing the playing field, a playing field that has been dominated by the insurance industry for over 65 years, and now it's the people's turn. The insurance companies will now be playing on the people's field. Mr. Conyers, thank you for your ongoing leadership, for fairness, for competition, for a better deal for the American people. I also want to commend Congresswoman, Chairwoman of the Rules Committee, Louise Slaughter, for her ongoing and persistent insistence that this legislation come to the floor. When she served in the state legislature in New York, she was fighting this fight. This antitrust exemption was passed, again, around over 60 years ago, and it was supposed to last 3 years. 65 years later, we are on the floor of the House to finally repeal the special exemption that insurance companies have that no other industry except Major League Baseball has in our country. I also want to commend Mr. DeFazio, who's been a champion on this issue, from Congressman DeFazio from Oregon. He has worked with our new members of Congress, and they have been a source of energy to move this legislation. Congresswoman Betsy Markey of Colorado, Congressman Tom Perriello of Virginia, the author of this bill. We're grateful to them for their courage and their leadership, because the insurance companies don't want this bill, but the American people do. And I commend those who have worked so hard. Another new member, Congressman Garamendi, a former insurance commissioner of the state of California, played a role effective from the start as soon as he arrived to get this legislation to the floor. So, and again, I believe that the legislation has many Republican supporters as well. So that, of course, is really a source of confidence to us as we go forward into the health care debate. 1 year ago, we began this debate on health care, quality, affordable health care for all Americans. We got a running start on it in the recovery package with big investments in basic biomedical research and into health information technology. So we were on the cutting edge of science and technology for this. We had a running start on it by passing the S-chip in a bipartisan way, a state children's health insurance program ensuring 11 million children in America. And then the debate has gone on from the summit the President had a year ago in a bipartisan way to a summit he will have tomorrow as well. But in the meantime, this very important piece of legislation is before us today. I've always said that any health care reform had to make the AAA test. It had to have affordability for the middle class, accessibility for many more people, and accountability for the insurance companies. Accountability for the insurance companies. No longer would they have it all their way. And that's what this legislation does. We had this on the agenda, and then the snows came and we had to put it off. In between the time when we all got snowed out or snowed in, Anthem in California announced that it was going to raise its rates 39%. 39%, Anthem Insurance Company, 39% for health insurance. Over the past decade, insurance rates have gone up over 150%. And this continues. In Michigan, Kansas, other places in the country, these insurance rates have gone up because the insurance companies simply have not been accountable. And this has worked to the disadvantage of the American people. So again, I commend all of those who played a part in bringing this to the floor, to the bipartisan discussion that took place in committee that has been mentioned, and for hopefully the strong bipartisan support we will see today. But again, I want to come back to Chairman Conyers, because he's the person when it comes to speaking out for the people. Chairman of the Judiciary Committee, a very prestigious position, one with a great deal of responsibility to make sure that the pledge we take each day with liberty and justice for all is lived up to. And today, we are providing much more competition, much more freedom for the American people by expanding their choices with this important legislation. I urge our colleagues to support the legislation, and once again, salute all who made it possible to bring this before the People's House today. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Speaker, I yield back the balance of my time.
Gentleman from Michigan.